Nobody knows what that is.
I know. I don't know what that is either.
Man, I didn't get to start the show because everybody was talking, man. I didn't get to start the show.
Uses centimeters. I don't know why they say centimeters. We use inches too. I don't get it.
Get real.
What the hell?
I'm serious.
Welcome to HVAC Overtime. I'd like to congratulate everybody out there, especially Susie. You know what I'm saying?
Zuzi?
Good job, Susie. Actually, well, good job, Ronnie. Actually, I guess, not Susie.
She got inches.
I want to do an official opening to the show, okay?
Go for it.
All right, here we
Wait,
go.
are we live?
Yeah, we are live. We're live.
That's about 6 inches, 15 centimeters, but go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. That's fine. I was listening to my wife in their car over there today, and it was GPS was like, in 40 meters, turn right. In 13 meters, turn left. I was like, what the hell? They're talking about a meter. What the hell is that? That's right.
Speak
right.
Spanish.
What happened to all our names? Where'd our names
Got
go?
meters and yards mixed up. It's real dumb.
There we are. Bam. I would like to welcome everybody, and I'd like to introduce this ragtag bunch of ragamuffins. And I'll start with the most healthy, and I'll end up with the sickest. Okay? Leading off with the healthiest, we have Bill, Curious HVAC Guy. He's about to say something. I just feel it.
Toodles.
Excellent. I don't know if Rick's here. Hopefully Rick's here. The second healthiest. Let's see. No tooth problem. Adam, the A-Team Muffage.
I am
Adam.
definitely not the second healthiest. I'll tell you that right
That's how
now.
bad this bunch is. You're second healthiest. The third healthiest is Joe Bad Tooth,
Bonamassa.
Canada.
Yeah. Good name.
I was going to say Belimo or something, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Limo.
And the sickest, lowest health rating person here is Justin Beaver HVAC. He's just
Yeah,
nodding.
Dying.
For those of you that are blind and watching, he is nodding. He is here. He just is. He's on death's door. And I want to introduce the topic for tonight, for everybody. The topic tonight is preventive maintenance.
Yay.
I hate it. I hate
Yay.
preventive maintenance. I hate maintenance contracts. I dislike them intensely. Let's go right over to somebody who owns a company and ask them.
Let's
Adam.
clean some flame sensors.
So that's preventive maintenance, cleaning the flame sensor and recommending an igniter or something like that. Putting some Freon in, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do, right?
Well-
Spray it down and gas it up, huh?
Oh, jeez. Do you guys have a plan in place where you guys are?
Yeah.
What is it, like average? You don't have to say the price, but what's the average?
I mean,
And is there
we're
different levels?
we're a little bit over $100 per maintenance. You know what I mean? So if you do like a maintenance agreement, you're going to be $200+
That's
For-
with cool and heat, right?
for 2 visits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent price, I would think.
Yeah.
Going right around here as well.
It depends on what it gets you. I mean, if Adam just goes and sits in the basement for half an hour and then leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. There's some guys around here that will they'll charge like $50. Like they'll call us and they'll be like, "You're crazy with your prices." And there's companies that will charge $50 for maintenance, you know, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'll call them." But they're like the guys that like show up and open up the doors of the furnace, be like, "Yep, it's working.
Yeah, yeah.
Go," you know.
Start
Just
making
like a
them-
mostly visual inspection, right?
Yeah,
Like, yep, thermostat, furnace, sign here.
it's all there. Everything's here still.
Yep, you're good to go, lady.
Double check it out.
So what do you do, Adam? When you go down there to check a gas furnace, what are you doing?
Well, for the most part, depends on how busy you are. But like if you have enough time in the day for
That's a
you
good
are
point.
checking amps on the blower, checking amps on the draft motor, checking temperature rise, checking gas pressure, cleaning the flame sensor, ohming out the igniter, whole 9 yards. It's just going over the system. Which I think the more thorough a company is, the better off it is for the company and the customer, right?
Yeah. Well, it saves the appliance or the unit, right?
You find more
I
problems
mean,
to fix.
Yeah, right. Like if you are really nitpicking stuff and you're like, okay, I'm checking the ohms on this thing or whatever you're doing. You're like, hey, this draft motor is drawing high amps. You're going to recommend that. Yeah, let's replace the draft motor. It's good for the company. You're making a little bit more money. It's also good for the customer because they're not going to have any downtime with a part that is destined to fail in the near future, right?
Sure. Now, there's companies here that also have like a different level, and they'll have a protection plan, let's say. So that'll be a little bit more, but it will cover if something does happen. It will cover a lot of the parts, some labor, and so on. Do you guys have like a level system, or is it just maintenance?
As of right now, I'm exploring the idea of doing that. I'm kind of fascinated by it,
Yeah,
but it's kind of gambling, right?
it is.
Are you talking about like a tiered setup, Joe? Like maybe a first tier PM,
Yeah.
second tier PM,
Yeah,
and then like third would be like the most
that's right.
involved.
That's right. No deductions, yada yada yada, and
Checking your temperature rise and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
yeah.
So Adam, do you guys have like just a regular checklist you guys go through, or anything like anything written down like this is what you get when you buy our maintenance program?
So the nice thing, all right, we went over House Call Pro and all the different software last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Field Edge, which I'm coming from, you could have a checklist like on your maintenance. You could set up like different tiered things or whatever for checklists. So I would set up like furnace maintenance checklist or air conditioning maintenance checklist, and you could like write up everything like what is, and I would spell it all out. What's the filter size? How thick is the filter? What is your ohms? Like everything. Like fill it out. Fill out the whole chart. You got to do everything, or you can't close the ticket. Right?
Mm-hmm.
House Call Pro doesn't have that, so I don't really have a checklist per se. But I think I need to develop something that's like, let's check everything, right? I guess it's gonna have to be a mental thing because they don't have that in the software.
I feel it'd be easier to sell like preventative maintenance programs if you're able to present to them like this is what you get, for this price, or if you're going to do a tiered system, this is what you get for $125, and then for the third tier, $150, we'll change your filters as well. Whereas before, maybe it didn't.
Now, I know you do a lot of commercial rooftops, Bill, majority, or the rest of the guys. Do you have enough time to do a full out check or wash, like economizer check, if there are working diffusers and washing the filters, if they're washable ones?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It really varies with our customers because our customers dictate to us what they want as far as a PM is done. Usually the facility manager, because we have large chain retail locations and restaurants, so the facility manager will come to us and he'll maybe ask for like 3 different options. We do have one account where they basically have the full package where, for example, in the summertime, we'll go up there, sometimes have 2 guys on a roof all day just doing a preventative maintenance, because there'll be anywhere from 10 to 20 rooftop units that we have to PM, and you're talking filters. We normally inspect the belts, and we recommend they be replaced if need be. So we replace the filters, check the belts, and mostly visual inspections and washing the coils as well.
So does your company, Bill, do you quote like a flat rate per box, like per RTU? Or do you look at it like, hey, it depends on the tonnage, it depends on the roof, like do you quote hourly? How do you quote maintenance? Like what is it?
Well, as far as the numbers, I know there's like once you actually get to the rooftop unit, they have a number in place. I don't know the exact number. We'll just say it's like $60 per rooftop unit or something. But before we even get to that number, a couple of the other things we have to toss in there is, what is it going to take for us to get there? For example, at a mall, you have to go through security, get up on the roof, walk 3 miles across the rooftop, and then get to the rooftop unit. So that's kind of factored in. So they get, they probably get bumped up in the price a little bit. So it is sort of I guess you could call it like a flat rate, but we try to account for all the variables that we could encounter.
Is it on a case by case basis though?
Mostly. Yeah. And there's been instances where, Actually, it just happened about a month ago. I went out to a well-known plumbing supply shop, and they have all split systems in there, and they have these massive 5-inch filters in their each one of their systems. And it was quoted without us actually doing a site visit. So I went out there and I'm looking at this, and in the PM checklist it says replace the filters. Well, these 5-inch air filters, I don't know, $50-$60. I mean, they're not cheap at all. And they had, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. And the in my little dispatch notes it says like the PM was, I don't know, like $300. So then I get on the phone and I say, you know, we got to rework this quote because nobody did a site visit. Everything else is normal, but they have these very expensive filters. So sometimes stuff like that gets in the way.
Do you feel? Oh, Adam just left. Well, maybe I'll go. Oh, you're still there. Zach, did you guys have something since you're here? Did you guys have something when you were working with your dad's company?
No,
Maintenance?
that was before 2009. They didn't have anything then. I did something when I was on my own, but he never did. He hated maintenance plans, which is ironic because that's how people value companies, evidently.
Yeah.
So
Seems like. Yeah.
I did them, but I always thought they were a pain in the ass
Me too.
because I really didn't want to go in
Yeah.
there and like check 2 parts and go like some of the companies do, I guess, is what I've heard. I like to do like a really full job, but it's really hard to do, especially when you're by yourself trying to do all the
Yeah, I
service
don't-
calls.
I don't really particularly care for them, but I understand the value of them. You know, preventing maintenance, obviously, because that's in the name. And then also, it's sort of like in the slow time. I don't know if I want to use the phrase like you're getting yourself work, but you kind of are. But I guess as long as you're doing it with integrity, like we obviously, I mean, I'm a pretty honest guy. We don't just go out there and just quote stuff that doesn't even need to be quoted. So even though we're doing a PM, we do just say, hey, this one's fine. You don't need nothing. The one next to it, though, you might need this or this. So
Yeah, I think the bigger companies, a lot of the bigger companies, they almost treat it like a rental agreement, especially with the bigger companies that sell maintenance programs monthly. So when you got a customer locked in monthly on a contract, you got that customer on lockdown. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
A lot
Yeah,
of people
it really
are doing
helps.
that now, like a monthly contract. Greg Fox, one of the guys I used to interview, has it, and they always name them something. There's always euphemisms for what you're doing. Like, I wish I could think of one right now. It's like when you say it's not a salesman, it's a comfort advisor.
oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I mean you're a salesman, man. It's just stuff like that.
Sandwich artist.
I call
Yeah,
myself
like a sandwich artist. Yeah, that's right.
I call myself the director of BTUs.
That just makes it like it's like a rap version of
The
HVAC or
thermostat
something.
whisperer.
there was that whisper.
That always annoyed me. I hate that whenever they name people something that's like a
It's not even like a real title.
Advisor.
the
Temperature
comfort
advisor.
advisor. I'm a comfort specialist. Well, hot damn, come on in and fix mine. That's great. It's a capacitor. Comfort specialist out. You know, stupid.
I wonder, do you guys ever, I guess at home, okay, the owners could do the filter, but do you guys ever put anything on the owner? Let's say even for prep tables. I haven't done those in who knows how long. I haven't done much. But do you put it on the owner to clean his own condenser? Because those obviously could get nasty pretty quick.
In my world, some of them, I don't put it on them, but we have I'll just say a sandwich chain that we service.
Yeah.
And they have a preventative maintenance with us. And the managers are actually, and I mean, it's not a good idea to me because some managers don't know what they're doing. And they'll just jam a fan in there in the condensing coil, get their hand stuck, you know, and chop their arm off. But some of them, they don't do it. And so the facility manager of that location will take my notes. Then he goes back to that manager and be like, you guys are supposed to be doing this. You know, here's a picture of what, what Bill found. And I'm sure they don't really get in trouble, but they're sort of responsible for at least pulling the little media filter off of there, brushing it off with a little brush, and then, you know, carrying on. But they don't always do that. So we go in there and that's what we do.
Yeah, sure. 'Cause, you know, just little things like even sometimes even the maintenance guy of a building or one. I remember when I was shadowing somebody a long time ago, and went around with him. He was doing some chillers, and obviously I never worked on them much. But I was shadowing this guy, and I remember the main causes were just little things that the maintenance guys that had to monitor. Let's say they're a water cooled chiller. You know, they're not just checking the water, see if there's algae buildup, or just making sure the water level is good, stuff like that. And that's all they had to do. And that one little thing would have saved them a service call. So it's just weird how much you put on the owner or maintenance staff to get done and whatnot.
I guess like a big thing is like, what does a company charge for the maintenance, right? Like, how much time are you allotted for the time you're charging to perform the maintenance?
Yeah, that's the hard part.
And then like when you're charging a low amount, like you have these companies that charge $60 for maintenance. How thorough are you of a job are you doing?
Not
Right?
very.
No, that's
Like
yeah.
even in my world, we do. Again, I don't know all the prices for all our preventative maintenance, but anywhere from $300 to say $1,500, depending on the level of maintenance they want done. But even anywhere in between those, none of it says like you're allowed this amount of hours. So it's kind of up to like me to go in there and train my guys and say, you know what, we have to get this done in this amount of time, but we also have to be thorough. So it's almost like riding a fine line between how thorough do you need to be while actually not wasting a ton of time.
Yeah.
Like how many amp draws are you going to do, how many wires are you going to check, how far are you going to go with it. Again, we have a checklist, which I think helps. It helps keep the guys kind of in line, keeps them moving, keeps everything on time. But you do get some of those guys that they get kind of distracted. They start looking in there and they're testing everything. They're taking an amp draw, the evaporator coil for no reason. You're like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting time,
Did you
bro.
say amp draw on the evaporator coil?
Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff, man.
I guess the most important is obviously checking for you especially, your 3-phase, checking each leg, whatnot, unless you have a phase monitor, but still. But I've been to jobs that they have maintenance guys and or they're scared per se that they'll call us or me just to be there before they turn something on. And obviously they're not saying, yeah, I just called you here so I could turn this on while you're here. But indirectly, when you go there, you're like, okay, so why am I here? Everything's working right. Oh, you just have to turn this on. I think they're kind of not scared, maybe timid, which is fine because we're getting calls, but it's just weird how they hire these maintenance guys for this building or facility and they can't do the small things.
Yeah, can't or don't want to, maybe.
Or don't want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're just not trained to do it, right? Like
That could be too.
maybe they would like to do it, but they're timid in the fact that they really don't. They're nervous. They don't want to screw anything up.
Yeah. True.
Now, when you guys actually do, let's say if you're doing a full in-depth PM, I don't know, Joe, I'm sure you've probably done some PMs too, Adam, Justin, Zach. Do you guys do anything like taking amp draws of motors? Do you guys,
Sure.
one of the things that I do sometimes, check capacitors, obviously, but I'll do a voltage drop across the contactor.
Yep.
Also, I inspect the contactor points.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Yeah.
Temperature-wise, you guys do all that?
Yep.
You guys date your filters? Put little
Nope.
dates on them?
I don't do filters anymore.
I
But
do.
no.
I mean, if we're changing the filter or whatever, then yeah, I'll date it.
Yeah. I hate when I get to the rooftop unit and don't see dates on them.
Mostly in residential, we're not changing filters unless they're
Yeah.
paying for a media filter or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, a lot of times, especially if the homeowner is like on top of it and they know you're coming and like you're going there routinely and stuff, most of the time they got a new filter sitting there waiting for you, propped up on the furnace. Hey, I went ahead and put a new filter down there. If you will change that for me, and then I'll put it in there and I'll date it. So,
One of the things I've heard of too is residential companies that have their customers set up on preventative maintenance programs. They have a filter company. I don't know the name of it offhand, but this filter company, you set it up as a schedule and they'll send whatever filters needed for that customer to their house.
Yeah,
And then you go there and it's there.
We had a company actually court us for that. All right, so it actually sounds like a really good idea as far as like business owners go. You can sign up with this company. Every customer that wants it, you let them know what type of filter you want. They can set it up monthly, every 2 months, every 6 months, whatever it is, and they bill the customer directly. You get a small percentage, maybe 5% or 10% or whatever the filter is, and that gets sent directly to the company for the lead, basically, which is kind of cool because you're keeping on top of the filters and you're making a little money on top of it too. You
Was
know?
it Uber filters?
I don't remember the name of it.
I'm just joking. Uber filters. That's funny. Imagine.
Filter fetch. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these the package units we go on. I can't say I didn't do filters. We do, because a lot of times a Home Depot won't get the size that are in these package units. So again, they're obligated to call the service guy, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good there. I think the main part is, if they have like a light commercial setup to check the water level and to change the water in, let's say, a water cooled condenser. I think that's most important, if anything, or if they have a glycol loop. But other than that, checking amp draws and whatnot, it's the same thing.
Do you guys ever on any sort of maintenance tap into the refrigeration system, sealed system, see what the pressures are?
Field?
Well, yeah, no unit for sure.
Yeah, like your condenser. You guys are part of a maintenance sometimes. I've heard of companies that do this whenever they go out and do a preventative maintenance. One of their checklists or one of the boxes is, well, you got to hook up your gauges, check pressures, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that?
Or temperatures if you have.
I like the idea of doing it so if it's a new customer, doing it once.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of actually using, which I'm not doing that, but I'd like to do this using the Measure Quick minimally, what is it called?
Minimally invasive.
Right.
Yeah.
That seems like an awesome thing.
That's a much better way to do it. We've actually had customers that we had to gently tell them, we're not going to hook up our gauges every time we go out there and test pressures. Obviously, because it's not really good for the system.
Sure.
But then the other thing was, my argument to the facility manager was, well, if I give you this information, what are you going to do with it? I mean, not that he's an idiot, but he's not a service technician. So I'm like, what are you going to do with this information? Now, granted, he could probably pass it along to maybe one of his buddies would know, but me giving this information directly to you makes no sense because you're not going to do anything with it. And I'm also somewhat harming your system as I hook up my 12-foot long hoses because I like giant hoses. So you've just had to we're not going to do that. I mean,
that's why it's nice when you have package units or units that have a logic that has a screen. It tells you everything, your superheat, your evaporated air temp.
Do that?
Sorry?
You have package units that do that?
Yeah, the systems I usually work on, they have all that. Your evaporated leaving air temperature, your discharge temperature, your suction.
Yeah, I got discharge temperatures and all that. Nothing like superheat, though, and pressure.
Oh, yeah, superheat, everything. Yeah,
we don't have any of that. I mean, not on the systems I work on. There might be some. What's the brand of that?
It's like a Dectron or Sarasco's dehumidification, big package units.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Can you say it in English, Joe?
Let's see what you guys have there. I think you guys see mostly maybe Desert Air or Pool Pack mostly over there.
Never heard of those either.
No?
Okay. No. Air, like Aeons? Any of those?
They're complex like Aeons, but no, not really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But now let's say if you guys came up to a ductless, or are you doing the full out,
oh man, I forgot.
Dissolve kit, pump spray.
I don't even know. I wouldn't even know if I would want to do a PM on a ductless. I've never done one really. I brushed off the coil a little bit, cleaned the filter, but I don't think I've ever done an actual good PM on a duckless.
I think you just need to charge correctly. It's not scary if you charge correctly for it, right? You, if you're pulling like a wall mount head unit, if you're pulling the enclosure out and you're actually doing what Yamo does, right? And you're building a tent and spraying it all down.
Does he build a tent or he takes it down?
Well, he freaking pumps it back and he takes the whole thing to
that's dedication.
That's serious, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of pumping it back, isn't that something you're not supposed to do? I heard you're not supposed to pump those down.
I don't know.
I pumped them down.
Yeah.
So have I.
I've heard about them exploding.
No,
I think Ralph was telling me that actually. Yeah.
Microchannel units. No.
Ralph Wolf was telling me about that. Diesel combustion effect is what it's called.
Even microchannel. I don't know.
I don't know if it's microchannel. It was something to do with the way you pump it down and then oxygen's in there. I don't know. I'm not really a scientist.
I try to avoid working on them anyway.
Yeah.
Luckily, I hardly ever see those.
Anyway, my point being is if you're charging somebody $115 for a normal cooling maintenance or heating maintenance, If you're doing a ductless, it's a lot more intense, right? So you got to be double or triple that. If you're pulling everything apart and you're cleaning and you're tenting things off or pulling the evaporator or whatever.
How long does it take to do one of those?
Jeez, if you're tenting it off, even it's going to take a few hours.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple hours to do it, and especially if you spray out the condenser outside. Yeah. You're going to spray the coil outside. It's going to take some time to do it, right? And then if you're going to do it you're going to put something in for the pan treatment, so it doesn't build that. What's that bacteria or whatever, Legionella or whatever that kind of throws in there?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do. It takes time, right?
Check your amps, and that's another unit you're not going to probably stick your gauges on. You're probably just going to check temperatures, or you have a psychometer or whatnot. I think that's the best, but yeah.
Is this guy mocking us over here in the top corner?
Justin?
What?
Mm-hmm.
He says you're mocking him.
How am I mocking him?
Right, you.
He's got a problem.
You. Not Justin, you.
Too long on the bong. That's probably what the problem is. Nope, I was fixing an audio problem, which is plug the cord all the way in. Solution. But I'm back.
High five.
Yeah.
High five.
Why do you unplug the cords in between shows? Just so I know.
Nope, wrong one.
We can wait. Thank you. Okay.
That is harder than it looks, ladies and gentlemen. So all you guys out there watching, we've been practicing that for weeks and we still don't have it down.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna have a magic show next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Question for you, Bill. You go into a lot of supermarkets. When you go into supermarkets, I know a few issues a long time ago. A lot of, I guess, besides the seals on the door, those changed. Everything's going a long way, but even just the temperature in the overall building. Do you ever have that issue? Things, let's say the overall ambient temperature in the whole building's rocking, or the pressure, it's negative pressure in the building, or can't maintain a steady temperature in one of the tables. Do you ever find that an issue? Do you check the ambient air in the building per se?
As part of a PM?
Yeah.
I do. And usually, I mean, I don't walk around with a thermometer though. I'll do that right at the thermostat, see what the zone temperature is saying. In depending if it's an energy management system, I'll call them, have them give me the logs, see what's trending, see if we have anything like yesterday it was at 50 degrees for 4 hours. We don't know why, that sort of thing. So I'll do that, and then whatever I find based off of that, I'll go up there and I'll usually make a note of it. I sort of diagnose it while I'm doing a preventative maintenance, but our key thing is with preventative maintenance, it's mostly laid down by our customers, but we're not to do any diagnosis. We're there just to do preventative maintenance because that's what we're billing them for. So we don't get into actual diagnostics. Now we can, like I was saying, if it's 50 degrees in there, I can go to the manager and say, hey, can you put a work order in while I'm on site? We can check this out. And sometimes they do, sometimes they forget, sometimes I don't know what happens.
I guess, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I guess it's a little different in residential. Like Adam's mentioned, sometimes, I'm pretty sure you mentioned, I don't know if you do this, Adam, on your maintenance, if you do a thorough maintenance, most of the time you will find something that you could.
We don't do thorough maintenances over here.
Gotcha.
I love the honesty. Honesty is the best policy.
Confidence.
No, by all rights, if it's like a 5+ 10-year-old system, you're going to find something. A capacitor that's low, that's over the plus or minus 5%.
And you just quote them a new one, right?
Right. Yeah. You just tell them, just explain to them what it is. This is the range it should be in. All right. So today I was on a maintenance where the draft motor is supposed to run at 0.5 amps, right? It was running at 0.2. That's great. If it was running at 0.6 or 0.7, you could say, all right, well, this is what it's supposed to be at. I don't ever think you should lie to somebody, even if you need to make money. And a lot of people are incentivized.
If they ask you if they look fat?
Are they fat?
Totally
That's
off
a good
subject,
question.
but
That's a good point. Is the fat person fat?
does this furnace make me look fat? No. That's the answer.
Are you checking?
Adam.
But no, the point being, I think you should always be honest. I know a lot of companies are pushing like commission and everything. I think you should be honest. If you do a thorough job, you will probably come up with something that's not running correctly. You have a couple pieces of equipment that are running very hard, being a condenser, a furnace, a heat pump, whatever it is. It's running a lot of hours, a lot of start and stop time, right? So, I mean, you put that many miles on something over a term of 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you're going to have something that's wearing out.
Now, if you're doing like a preventative maintenance / commissioning for a new customer, do you guys check static pressure while you're there? Or like blower door testing or anything like, crazy like that?
Blower door testing on every maintenance. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And duct blasting as well.
Duct blasting.
Yeah.
Pressurize the house and be like, yeah, your light switch over there has got a leak in it.
Do some of that
thermal camera out.
Do the CSI test with the lamp to see what's going on the bed sheets and stuff like that.
Man, imagine
Absolutely.
that.
Goggles.
I think you will scare the customer if you did all that.
I don't know. I really think that, I mean, the problem is there's not enough money to do everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, people in the chat, what do you guys charge for a residential maintenance? What do you charge for an air conditioning maintenance? What do you charge for heating maintenance? Is there enough time to do static pressure, to do airflow, to do gas, to do the whole 9 yards? A lot of times, based on your market, I believe, and what the going rate is for the maintenance, there's certain things like I think it's kind of like discretion. What can you leave out? Because if you're only able to charge $90, can you sit there for 3 hours? You know
what really gets me excited is a customer who really, really grasps the idea of preventative maintenance, where you're preventing maintenance and troublesome breakdowns and emergency calls. Like, we have just a handful of customers that pay us a lot of money to go out there and like spend entire days with all of their systems, and we just go through them with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, that's right there is the bread and butter. But those are rare customers because obviously nowadays everybody's just looking at that bottom dollar and they're just, all right, we'll do preventative maintenance, just change my filters, get out of here. And we also have customers that's all they want. You just change filters. You just don't look at anything else. Throw the filters in there, get off the roof. And
that's what I'm saying. You see all these prices that are coming in the chat as well too, right? So it's kind of
what are they saying?
It's all over the board. So
80
times
25.
Yeah, right. It's all over the board. So I guess it's depending on what the price of living is in your area. What are your competitors charging? How long can you afford to be there? Like, really, I'd love to spend that amount of time on every job. And here's another question: should you do it every visit? If you have a normal maintenance customer, should you do it once? And then once it's done once, if you're good there every year, should you have to do it everything every year? Should you have to do airflow? Should you have to do static pressure? Is this something that needs to be done every time? I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
That's a good question. And you know what? Actually, if people want to come in on cam, right, Zach?
That
I don't
is
think the
correct.
phone's set up.
The phone was bad, so we abandoned that to think of something that is good.
If you want to let us know what you guys do, what the company you work for does,
we
come
ran
in.
out of super chat money for our burner phone.
Yeah.
What'd you get for the burner phone, Zach?
The burner phone, I was borrowing it from this guy, Craig, who's a meth head in my neighborhood, and he needed
So you
it
live
back.
under the overpass?
He needed it back.
We don't have, he needed it back because he was on the move. And we don't have an overpass here, but there's a collection of trash cans at the end of the street that he operates out of.
Oh, cool.
Nice. So at least he's got a good thing going for him. It sounds like.
I mean, he's about to branch out and get another set of trash cans. So yeah.
Nice.
Funny story about a not meth head, but a homeless guy. So Justin has met a friend of mine, Bob. He used to work for my dad. He does maintenance now. He's a maintenance man. Okay. He's a maintenance supervisor. So his old boss sold the property that he's at and bought. He has a new owner at the property. He's been working there for a while. His old boss contacted him. He bought a hotel building, and they're going to tear it down and build something else there. So he's paying him to supervise the project and kind of watch everything and oversee it. He went there the other day, a homeless guy, and this is a nice neighborhood, Naperville. If you guys know Illinois, Naperville, Illinois,
Oh yeah.
a homeless guy kicked in a PTAC unit, climbed in through the sleeve, and he was sleeping in one of the.
Hey man, he deserves it, man. You need to leave that guy in there.
I said he called. So I'm like, man, you gotta let that guy stay there.
Wow.
Did you
man.
hear anything last night? This homeless guy spearing the friggin' P-tac to try to knock it out of the wall. That's awesome.
There's another reason why I hate P-tax. There you go. Thank you. And if it's such a nice area, why is there P-tax on houses?
What's wrong with the P-tac? You need that noise to
I don't
sleep
know.
with the
You
Holiday
don't see
Inn.
them here. Sorry. You know what? You don't see them here. They could be, I guess,
I don't know.
extravagant.
They
Hey.
remind me of like old, rundown, trashy motels.
Oh
Right?
man, come
That's
on.
what I think of.
You guys heard me. It was a hotel. It's an old hotel. They're
Oh, sorry.
It's a hotel,
Yeah,
man.
okay.
You gotta have a
That makes
P-tac
sense then.
to drown out the snoring and the lady moans.
True.
Yeah, and also the rampant murdering that's going on at every single motel.
So I know one of the viewers, Clint. I've followed him a little bit, and I know he checks on all the maintenance. He checks static pressure every time, and he makes a note of it. He's posted pictures on it, right? Another guy, Kangaroo God.
Yep.
Kangaroo God. He's asking if we use hot wire to measure CFM. I do, but not on maintenance. Not unless I feel like I do it when I need to do it.
If
Right.
there's an issue, then yeah.
Right.
For the people that don't know what that is, why don't you explain it a little bit?
A hot wire
Hot
and
wire
a
thermometer.
is like basically a little wire that is heated, and you feed it into your ductwork. It's called traversing a duct. You drill a certain amount of holes in the ductwork, and you feed it in slowly. And as the wire is cooled, because your meter is heating the wire,
Mhm.
it's cooled. It's figuring out how much CFM, how much airflow is moving past the hot wire, and that's
And is-
figuring feet per minute, CFM, the whole 9 yards.
Is it
right?
doing that by like checking the resistance of the wire?
It's
Because the
I
re-
believe it's all temperature. That's from what I understand. But if you
I'm a-
really need to know the definition, call Brian Orr. He's the
Yeah, it must be some kind of thermistor, something in there, temperature. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never done any of that stuff.
Some sort of magic cauldron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all crazy stuff to me.
The hot
Yeah.
wire. It works great in the south too. You can just drill a hole in the flex and do it.
In my world, if you did something like that, we would call you a witch and we would burn you at the stake.
it's super accurate because I've tested it against which I've talked to people from Train. I've talked to people from Amana, and they say all right, so if you have a variable system and it has the flashing lights, it says if it flashes 1,200 times, or 12 times, you're moving 1,200 CFM, right? All right, so I've tested it against their circuit boards, and it's freaking spot on.
Really?
It's spot on, you know?
What is it?
So,
See, John
Spot
McMaster in
on.
the chat says he's
Spot on.
using a mini vane anemometer.
Oh, minivan.
You guys ever use one of those, Adam?
I never used one. Heard of it.
I've never even heard of it till just now.
Like the one I used to use on YouTube was a minivan.
right. A little, they what is that little blue company that makes the ones that plug into the iPhone?
AAB.
Yeah.
Those are actually
Those are pretty cool. But I heard
So-
they're shitty.
no. So
Well,
listen,
Oh.
Those are cool, but they're shitty.
Well, there goes that sponsorship.
I heard bad things about them, but it was cool when I seen it come out anyways.
I had one.
Okay.
That first anemometer I owned. Okay, I had one, and I was working with a guy that had a Elnor, and
Oh,
he's
fancy.
like, "What is this thing? This is a joke." So he's like, "You do your test, and then I'll do mine." And I did. We were 150 CFM off on a 3,000 CFM system. That's how close both of them were, which I think is pretty impressive for a tool that's $50, right?
Sure.
Versus a tool that's 1,500.
Yeah, that's good. There's some positive about it.
People like that AAB thing, man. I think it's CPS now, though, since they got bought
Yeah,
out or
I
whatever.
was about to say, I thought it was CPS.
Yeah, I think they own them now. Because that's when I had that CPS hood, it was a CPS version of that same thing inside the hood.
Yeah.
Not
What
very
does CPS
honor.
stand for?
Yeah, good question.
Chicago Public Schools.
That doesn't make sense.
No,
No.
Capusa.
I thought Zach would know this one. I think Zach would know.
Crap. Probably.
Chuck Price Systems.
China produced sling blades.
Supplies.
Crappy.
I don't know what the hell it is, man. It's CPS. Man. Oh wait, we have some people that are waiting. Oh, oops,
Yeah,
sorry.
let them in. Let them in. 5 minutes each, I guess. Whatever it is.
5 minutes each will be fine. We have Steve Dumansky and we have Hazer. Hazer, I think is his name.
Ozier.
Hoser, that's Corey.
No, it's Hazer.
No, it's Hazmir, I think. Yeah. Let him in. Because we haven't heard from him before.
Well, Steve was first. He asked to come in.
Okay, let Steve in. Go for it.
But you know, we do like
First
Hoser
come, first
though.
serve.
Yep.
I'm just seeing if I can make Joe to switch back and forth. All right. Here we have Steve. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, good evening. How y'all doing?
Good.
How's
Good,
life?
Doing well.
So, what do you know about preventative maintenance, Steve? You ever done it? Heard about it?
All my life, I'm residential, so that is my lifeline in the slow times.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the biggest way for a company, I think, to keep a constant flow
Yeah.
of cash.
Do you guys have like a tiered system, like we were talking about earlier?
No, we just have one flat rate. It's $189 for one system, $98 each additional system.
Oh, interesting.
And what does that come with in detail? Like, what does it provide?
What we do on the first visit is we do a full commissioning. And we go through in the cooling mode, superheat, subcool. We're doing static pressure, pulling up lower charts. We actually document the static pressure somewhere on the unit. Then we're checking subcooling, checking that, and superheat if it's a piston or not.
And that's just on the very first visit, though, Steve?
Yeah, on the first visit.
Okay.
And if there's no leaks, then nothing should ever really change, as long as you're using good filters or checking blower wheels, making sure all that's good and clean as well. So from then on out, it's basically just a clean and check. Checking your run caps, contactors, flushing drains, which is one of the huge things that we do. In the residential, water leaks are a killer.
Mm-hmm.
So we're huge on drain line safety floats, putting wet switches in the drain pans, and just getting the system all set up. Like Jim Bergman says, just get it set up and make it right. And then from there on out, we're just glorified maintenance or glorified janitors, just cleaning drain lines and coils and checking contactor points and run caps.
To your point on drains, I think I don't know what you have there for high efficiency furnaces or, whatnot, but I think that's probably by me, one of the most overlooked pieces on a maintenance is cleaning the drain traps or the drain lines that lead to the trap.
Yeah.
You won't make on pressure switch. It's a big deal. And, you go to a furnace that has been maintained for years and it's not making a pressure switch. You pull the drain trap and it's freaking filled with sludge.
It's like trickling out at the drain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in the commercial world, we got that part of our checklist. I think with us, though, it's a little easier. We just got that P-trap, that pre-made P-trap that's just sticking out the unit. We just pull it off, tap it on the side of the unit, and you're good to go, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, what about heat exchangers? Do you guys inspect those on every PM or the seasonal PMs, rather?
We, on our first visit in the heat mode, everybody has combustion analyzers. Bosses bought them for everybody. They're not. We can't. If we leave, we can't take them. They're truck stock. We document on the unit what the readings are, so when we come back the next year or whatever, the hole's already there. Just pop it in. It doesn't take 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
if
see if anything's changed.
If it's changed, then you have a problem. We also clock the meter on the first go around as well.
Yeah.
So we got our input right. We document the readings, and from then on out, you can be in and out in 35 minutes.
So if you're clocking the meter now, if you have, based on the gas content of your area, if you have say you have an 80,000 BTU furnace and it is only firing at 76,000, what do you do in that scenario? Do you overfire the furnace? You do basically by overfiring, do you set up the gas pressure over 3.5 inches so it actually meets the 80,000 BTU rating, or do you leave it run at 76,000 BTU?
We'll take it up to 3.8, which is what all your manufacturers, plus or minus
Yeah.
10% on 3.5. If
Yeah.
we can get to that point at 3.8, then it's going to do all it can do.
Right. Have you had to play with? Do you have 90 plus furnaces? I'm not sure in your where you're at. Do you work?
Yes.
Now, one thing that I was playing with a little bit is the intake air on 90 plus furnaces. A lot of times you'll see you might have to pop on if it's a 3-inch flue on an 80,000 or whatever, you might have to pop on a 3-to-2 reducer outside to reduce the amount of air intake on the furnace to get the combustion correctly. Have you ever run into anything like that?
I've been doing combustion analysis for about 2 years. This is like my second year, so there's a lot to learn. I've been asking about that from the distributors, or we deal with Train, so I call my guy up here at Train, and he says it's not that big of a deal, but I see in the install manuals that you do need at least a foot and an elbow to get something going. Hadn't had the opportunity to upsell, is what we call it, the customer, to make it a 2-pipe, so I hadn't had the chance to see that make a difference yet.
Right.
Adam, I had a furnace, actually, it was a Mana too, that I pretty much had to blink the whole thing off almost completely because it was getting, an excessive amount of extra air.
Mm-hmm.
So I have seen that before, and I have heard that some of the guys from NCI, I can't remember his name, I think it's Jim Davis, has talked about putting like a ball valve on and actually shutting it down.
Right. I've had to do that drastically on I'm trying to remember the name of the tankless. It's like I don't remember the name, but it's some high-end tankless brand. And we had one pipe. It was a one-pipe exhaust, and then they had minimum amount of feet, like a minimum equivalent feet that you need in the intake. You could use one pipe, but you need to have like 7 feet or whatever. So equivalent feet, right? So you needed 90 and a couple feet of pipe. And we did that and then set up the combustion on it, and it was making noise. It was like rumbling. And it was too much oxygen it was getting. So like I literally had to, it was only a 2-inch on a 200,000 BTU. So I literally had to tape off like half of the 2-inch intake to get it to run properly. It was great.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff. I almost did the whole thing.
Before we get any further here, Steve, we're going to cut you loose here real quick.
Okay.
We got a couple people waiting in line.
I was looking, seeing if that 100-foot, if 2-inch was right. That sounds pretty small for long.
For 100 feet, yeah, 2-inch does seem a little small for that.
100 feet.
Sorry,
Sorry,
guys. Yeah. I'll make room for somebody else.
All right, Steve. Thanks for coming,
good
buddy.
talking to
Thank you, Steve.
I'll be good.
What are you saying, Joe?
2 inches for 100 feet?
200,000 BTUs.
Yeah.
And you need it was like 7 equivalent feet. I mean, Navians you could run Navians all day long at 2-inch.
Under 200, yes. Yeah.
NCB, 200, 199,000. NCB 240E or whatever. Those are 2-inch flues all day long.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
What's that guy do with Hoser? Oh, here he is. What a segue.
Way to go, Zach.
What's up, guys?
I know you do maintenance, Hoser, so what's going on over there in that Lennox world?
Yeah, pretty much only furnace we work on is Lennox, pretty much. But ours is almost identical to what Steve does. I mean, so we have 2 service plans. One gives you 20% off parts and labor, and then includes a visit. And then we have one that includes up to $1,000 towards parts and labor. And on the first visit, we do pretty much like what Steve was saying. So I'll do a full measure quick report where I clock the meter.
Sweet.
And then I'll do a full static check, include a worksheet with that. And pretty much, check the gas pressure, do everything that the measure quick report requires. Check all my static, note it, and then that way, 10 years down the road, if all your holes are already pre-drilled, so it takes 2 seconds to check that static. So if we notice, like the evaporator's getting dirty, and all of a sudden my static numbers are a lot higher than what they used to be,
Sure.
then it's just a quick check.
How about protection? Sorry, cut you off. How about protection plans? I know you're up here as well. A lot of companies have, the bigger companies especially have these protection plans that come with the maintenance plan. Do you guys have anything like that implemented?
Yeah, like ours, all of ours come with the maintenance, but one of them will include the maintenance with full parts and labor up to 1,000. They just recently switched that, so you get $1,000 per year.
Okay,
But
that's
all
all. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, but all the service plans, like we got like 8,500 service plans, so we're heavy with the maintenance. Like most of my days, I'm doing maintenance until the weather gets cold, and then we're running service calls.
Or hot. Yeah.
Now, this kind of goes back to our previous show about dispatching software, but with your, like all the measurements that you're taking, do you guys have some sort of program that you attach it to the customer's profile then?
We did. Right now, we're in the midst of going to Service Titan. So right now, all we're doing is paper, and we write down the measurements on there. I have Measure Quick. Not all our techs, like I had to get all that stuff on my own. So our technicians don't have that, but because I have the probes and everything, I just give them the Measure Quick report and then a checklist of what was done on paper. But once we go to Service Titan, I'm not familiar with it, but I'm assuming all those. Yeah,
You will. You'll have just like with Field Edge or some of these other softwares. Service Titan, you can implement a checklist in there that has to be filled out and completed before you can close the call or even do the invoice. And in the future, if you go back 6 months later, you can pull up that should say it's an 80-point checklist or whatever it is. 6 months from now, you can pull up all the previous checklists. So you could go back 3 years ago and look at Joe Blow's checklist from 3 years ago when he done a maintenance and look at what his numbers were. So, yeah, you will have that.
Yeah, see, that's cool. And I think Jim, from what Jim was saying, is that they're integrating Measure Quick over to Service Titan, so it's going to work perfectly.
Well, I know Service Titan already has iManifold right now.
Cool.
So if they get Measure Quick, that'll be good too.
So Zach, listening to him describe like taking static pressure measurements and that, I was listening to your podcast the other day with what's his name? Was it
David Richardson?
Right, from NCI?
Yeah.
And he was saying there's no people don't usually nobody wants to drill holes in ductwork, right? They don't want to allow you to drill holes in their ductwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in their furnace, I think he was referring to at that moment.
Right, but he was saying like there's not properly installed static pressure test point. And I was like kind of puzzled by that. And I was taking it a couple ways. I was wondering, and then I looked it up after listening to the podcast. And they actually have, like, I think Dwyer has one, and there's a couple other ones where you could actually fasten static pressure ports, and you could screw them into the ductwork permanently attached.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before as well. Yeah.
You think that was what he's referring to, or
I thought he was referring to people were being apprehensive about drilling into like the blower cabinet of the furnace. That's what I thought he was talking about.
I mean, when I do combustion analysis, I drill right into the heat exchanger to test it. I don't know any other way.
So you're saying the cabinet.
No, right, you're not going to get nothing out of it.
Right into the clamshell of the heat exchanger.
Everybody knows
drilling
that.
a hole in.
Yeah, I mean, what's his name? Corbett Lunsford did a video, and in his video on static, he basically said to customers, like, if you go downstairs and you don't see these holes, get rid of the guy that's doing your furnace because they're not checking it.
Good point.
So anytime a customer, and they always come down, they'll hear "Prang!" come down like, what the hell's going on? And you just educate them on why you're doing it. And that line that on Zach's podcast, which is, well, when you go see the doctor, what's the first thing he checks, right? Your blood pressure. Mm-hmm. So I just let them know, and they're, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
If you do it professionally, right? Like if you buy the plugs and you actually drill it to the right size and you plug your holes properly, if you're not leaving a permanent test port or whatever,
Yeah.
A lot more professional than like slapping some tape on there or doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's
Yeah,
all I
I've never
have.
done that.
I only put that tin tape on there.
Well,
but
it's great about the boilers about flue analysis. All the new boilers come with ports on the flue, which is great.
Man, I think the first time I did that, I buried a unibit all the way down to the bottom.
Oh no.
yeah.
It was so bad.
Well,
Yeah,
Corey,
for us. Sorry,
Yeah, go
I was
ahead, buddy.
gonna
Go ahead,
say
go ahead.
One last thing for
Yeah,
us
go
up
ahead.
here in Canada, we have to install those test tees because we're not allowed to drill into the 2-inch venting. If we don't do that, we have to go outside and take our flue analysis out there. But
I do it here, dude. Everybody does
Yeah.
it down here.
what?
Yeah,
You drill right in the flue?
right in, bud.
Oh fuck! I don't. Oh, sorry. I didn't.
It's okay.
All right, just shut it down. Just shut it down.
Get him out of here. We don't allow that kind of
he-
language.
He said fuck. He said fuck.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
great. I wonder if it's just no. You're here too. I wonder why. I gotta check up with that. I don't know.
You know what? I never got an answer. There's a guy in Toronto for TSSA, and I emailed him, and he never got back to me. I'm going to send it back to him because I want to know if I don't have to put a test. It would make my life so much easier.
I'll look on the.
Especially
I'm
with
gonna look in the code book when we get off, and I'll let you know.
Sweet, bud.
But Corey,
Yeah.
now you have a
Thanks
mic.
for-
You'll be. I'm pretty sure we'll be back here, and if anybody wants to check you on YouTube and your Lennoxes, furnaces,
Yeah.
I think you're the guy. Thanks for coming,
buddy.
bud.
All right, thanks, guys.
Sorry.
Thanks, Hoser.
Thanks, Corey.
No problem.
Do we have Jessica?
We do have Jessica. And I will say
main-
that hey, Corey will be on the Shop Talk podcast in February. So look forward to that. And
Nice.
now we have Jessica.
The maintenance guru.
She's been waiting 1 hour. It's like tech support.
Hey,
But she's calling Craig, not
Huh.
tech support.
Did you check your temperature right?
so when I do a maintenance, that's the first thing I look at is the filter. And then I'm checking the temperatures,
Cool.
the return the supply. And
Yeah.
we've been doing cool checks all week because it's been so hot.
Really? Where
I'm
are you
still
at?
doing cool checks.
Yeah, where are you at?
Unbelievable.
Florida.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Cool checks.
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
don't
how to do
do
those.
a
It's been so
whole
long.
It's been so long.
Mhm.
Hey,
But
Jessica.
I found one thing that, yeah.
Oh, there's a huge lag evidently. Sorry about that. Whenever you take temperatures, do you make any assumptions based on the temperatures, or are you just recording temperatures?
Good question.
I do make assumptions. One of the first customers I had, he had like a 7-degree temp split. And I'm like, something ain't right. I go out to the condenser and it's not running. The dude pulled the disconnect, but his system was running fine before that.
That was like, what's that dude from 2020? You
Chris,
were being
Chris
set
Hansen.
up. Chris Hansen was waiting around the corner.
Oh yeah.
You said you
Yeah.
couldn't figure out what was wrong with this unit.
They
Did
were
you
just
check
waiting
these
for you to
fuses?
quote a brand new unit.
Yeah.
Just tell them all the parts are obsolete now. They don't
I-
make any
Oh,
new
gosh.
parts.
I hate the fact that he does that to HVAC guys, but I can't not look away because it's
I
so
know.
funny whenever he pushes like this fuse disconnect in and goes, "Did you check that when you said it was the lock rotor amps on the compressor?" Guy's like, "We never check fuses." What the
Oh
hell?
man.
Hilarious.
But like some of the guys that you watch on those episodes, you could tell that they just have no clue what they're doing.
No.
And you feel bad for them because
know.
you're like, they're like sitting there and they're like, this guy was here for an hour and he's looking at everything. He's making phone calls, trying to call it in.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Adam, I got it for you right here. Here it is. Right here. All right, hold on a second. I'm about to do
And
this.
that's
Uh-oh.
the top tier, I'll bet too.
Hold on, let me help you out with this.
Yeah. That's a top tier.
Hi, I've got your quote for your new system, but you haven't checked the old system yet. Oh, shit, I forgot. That's right.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man.
So, well, so you don't have much heating down
So-
in Florida,
We do, but not in my area. It's like a retirement community of almost 200,000 people.
Is it the
That's
villages?
basically, yes,
Oh man, that's a rowdy place.
it is. It is STD capital.
Really?
Oh,
it
damn.
really is.
Okay.
It is a disgusting place.
It is.
What? Whoa.
Wow. Learn something every day.
Yeah, don't go there unless
Okay.
you got a hazmat suit.
Jeez. All right.
So, real quick, kind of getting a little bit off subject, but is it just all split systems that you do, Jessica? Any package units or like any refrigeration or anything like that?
No refrigeration. I do have some package units in some of the older sections.
Mm-hmm.
Some furnaces in certain areas, not a ton.
How about mini splits and or PTAC units?
Ooh. P-TAC.
So many splits. These people put them in their lanais, in their garages,
Their
all the
sunrooms.
time. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Their sunrooms.
They're awful to clean. Let's be honest. One of my neighbors, he has a sunroom. He's looking at heating, and there's a crawl space up until the point of his sunroom. There's no way to get any ductwork or anything in there. I'm like, hey, mini split. That's all you could do. And then I bounced off the idea. I'm like, hey, do you have any concern about heating or cooling your garage? He's like, maybe. I'm like, well, we can go with a 2-zone on that, baby. Yeah, let's explore that option.
Nice
So,
selling, Adam.
yeah.
What about your attic? It's hot up there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm thinking
Need
with
the
the
mini
reason.
split.
So let's go on a Jessica maintenance call. What do you do exactly? Like, what is your
Start to
rundown?
finish.
Yeah, exactly. Start to finish. You have a
Paint us
list.
a picture.
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel when you're
Okay.
doing it.
I feel hot most of the time.
That makes sense.
I start by checking the filter, getting temperature splits. I check the amp readings on the blower motor. And I go out and take a look at the outdoor unit, and I get pressures, check subcool, superheat, get the amp readings on the my mind just went blank.
Compressor.
Evaporator.
On the
Compressor.
compressor, that's the one.
Indoor unit if it has one, or total if it's a split system, mini split, maybe both combined.
And then every time you flush out that drain line, because we have some nasty slime down here.
Do you guys put anything in there to kind of prevent that or try to prevent that? Pan spray, tabs?
We have condensate tabs, and right now they're doing testing with the Viper drain pan cleaner
Oh, nice.
to see how that works.
Is that
But the
does anyone have any knowledge
Oh.
on slime? Is that actually Legionella?
I don't think that's what she's
I don't
talking
think so.
about.
that I'm not sure.
Some kind of fungi bacterial stuff. I don't know.
What color
It's-
slime is it?
Pink.
It's like a white.
Yeah, like a clear.
It's white.
I think it comes from the
Yeah,
aluminum
it loo-
coils.
Sorry, from what?
The aluminum coils. See, it doesn't. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not antimicrobial or whatever like copper coils were. I don't think it's Legionella. I don't know what it is.
Bacteria or something though. It's some kind of something that's alive.
Or you think it's reacting with the
It's growing.
oil?
Something growing in the drains. That's what's happening.
I just think the copper did a good job of stunting the growth, and the aluminum does not. That's what
Well,
I think.
copper, fun fact about copper.
What?
Copper is also known as the only living surface. Okay?
What?
So-
Okay, cool.
So you could have a copper surface, like I made a copper countertop, a bar top for somebody, and you will not grow anything on the copper. There will not be any kind of mold or anything else because it's antimicrobial.
Ooh, good point. Cool.
The more you know.
The last thing
Yep, go ahead.
The last thing that I do on my maintenances is I go over every one of my numbers with the homeowner, and they eat it up. I tell them how I got the subcool, how I found the superheat, and they love knowing where all the numbers fit.
I think that's a good point. Like I think the more you explain to people
Yeah.
and you try to make them understand and
Yeah.
break things down to them and bring like the knowledge to them. Because if you're just like, hey, this is bad, and they're like, okay, it's bad, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and that also gets back to pricing differences, right? So the Joe Blow guy that goes in there and does it for 40 or 50 bucks,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Not,
Yeah.
not
I am joking.
but he's like, yeah, you're good, whatever, $60 and he's out. And when people ask, well, why are he's at $60, why are you $125 per visit or whatever the case is? Well, here's the difference. I'm doing a checklist. I'm going to make sure you have a copy of it. I'm going to go over all my findings with you, plus the other benefits of a service agreement, whether it be 10% off or priority service or whatever. Show value. That's what it boils down to, is showing value and building trust with the customer. Because when you do that, like she said, when you go over everything and you show them numbers and how you got the numbers, they know you're not hiding anything. You're being honest. So if they do need something and you've been open with them, they're more likely to say, you know what? Yeah, go ahead and do whatever you feel like we need to do. Because you're totally different from the other guy that just said, yeah, this is broke, you need a new one.
That's one of the things I like about MeasureQuick and having the tools that integrate with MeasureQuick, because you're not entering any of the information. It's all taken directly from your tools, and it says what does it say? It's like MeasureQuick verified or something like this, or this is a verified report.
Mm-hmm.
There's a check. I know there's a check. It's a green
check mark, verified. Yeah.
Right. So you're not entering anything. It's like, hey, I have this computer or whatever it is, a tablet, phone, whatever. This is the information that's coming to me. This is what you have. I'm not making anything up. This is it.
Jessica, just one quick question. Down there, what do you mostly work on for mini split wise? Like what company, what brand do you usually see down there that you have your hands on?
We have a lot of Mitsubishis, and our company is starting to push Carrier because we're a Carrier dealer.
Interesting. Mitsubishi. Cool. All right. I guess that's about it. We're going to wrap this up. Maybe we'll do a giveaway before we leave, guys.
Yeah, let's do a giveaway real quick.
Yeah.
Court wants to know if you're high, Joe.
I am not high.
No, he's just drunk.
I'm not drunk.
Be specific.
It's different. He's high on life.
Why are you drinking pee out of a water bottle?
Because it tastes good.
Jeez,
I thought that was mud
it tastes
puddle
better
water.
in plastic. Sorry, that's containing water.
Yeah, it looks like mud puddle water.
Yeah, scooped it up before. Is chat going for that giveaway?
Speaking of nasty stuff.
Giveaway. What?
Oh, you're just chugging that, eh? You're just going all out tonight.
Time. It's about
Do the
that
NyQuil.
time.
Do the NyQuil.
About to
You'll
switch over to
love it.
NyQuil, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff right there.
Justin all day yesterday. I was like, today I was waiting for myself to get sick. I'm like, where is it? It's coming.
It's coming.
Hmm. I feel like I'm getting sick now.
I felt so bad. I woke up this morning and
Being sick.
I felt like freaking death, and I'm like, God, I gotta freaking text Adam. I just told Adam, I was like, if it gets stupid busy and it's freaking covered up, by all means, I'll freaking suck it up and come run a couple calls. But if you're good and it's not crazy busy, I'm gonna try to chill at the house. And he just said okay, so I didn't know if that was like an okay, like this bastard, or okay, go back to sleep.
Okay, like I love you, or okay, like just go on back to Tennessee.
That was a boss answer again, Justin. Remember those boss answers?
Yeah, that's a boss answer.
That's the
because
boss
he leaves you
answer.
thinking. He's just like, okay.
Text
Okay.
Who's
What's
he
that
hanging?
supposed to mean?
I was
See,
trying to get out of my house. I was trying to figure out the amp draw for that mini split, the dual zone mini split, because the electrician's coming over too today to do that. I was trying to order stuff from Sid Harvey, and I was also trying to order stuff from WMF Meyer.
So what he's saying is he was like super busy and he had a bunch of shit going on. And then I text him and say, hey, I'm not coming in unless you need me. And he's like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, let me simulate. Let me simulate for you guys on my iPhone 5. Hold on a second. All right, here's my iPhone 5 right here.
Oh, that thing is huge.
It looks huge because it's closer to the camera.
it's really small.
As it goes farther away, as you see, it's like.
I think I see one of those on Saved by the Bell a long time ago.
So Adam, because this is an iPhone 5, Adam gets to call. Saved by the Bell. Adam gets to call. I sick in bed. Just bring your ass back to Tennessee and don't ever fucking call me.
Just okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna get a brick phone. I'm gonna get like a toy brick phone and bring it here one day.
Zach Morris.
All right.
Hey Justin,
Right.
he has his own like templates of answers for you, just you, in his phone. Okay, whatever you think.
Yeah. And mind you, I was trying to do all this. I had to wait at 2 supply houses this morning for a while, and I wasn't all that busy today. And let me tell you an not HVAC related story.
Hey,
which was-
wait 1 second. Let's let Jessica go instead she has to listen to your awful story here in person before I give away.
That's a good point.
Thanks for coming, Jessica. You're
We're
awesome.
gonna save your ears.
My awesome story on YouTube. Awful story.
Thanks for stopping by, Jessica.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Adam, what was your epic story?
So I was trying to get some stuff done today. I had to get a bunch of stuff done before 1 o'clock. And the reason being before 1 o'clock is I have a half uncle. Okay.
Which half?
That I did not know my entire life until about a month ago. And that was the first time I met him. And we set up a time to have a lunch today. Okay. So my goal today was to get all the crap done I need to do so I could go have lunch and kind of BS with this dude that's in my family I never met before. And I did, and it worked out. And it was awesome.
Awesome.
Never met the guy. He's a cool dude. He's 81 years old. He's an old uncle, you know. But I mean, hey, if he's watching, he's not that old.
Oh,
But
He's not watching.
That ship is sell, bro.
right? Who are you kidding?
After he gave you that good bud. Man, that's
I
cold.
guarantee it. He's long been asleep. He passed out in a bag of Werther's Originals.
You don't like Werther's? That's like my favorite candy, man.
It's an old man
my
candy.
God.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
closer. Come closer. Let's talk.
He must be an old soul.
I don't like this, man.
what are those Good and Plenty? That's another old candy. I love Good and Plenty.
Are those bit of honey?
What?
Mm-mm.
You ever had those?
Never heard of that one.
Oh man, they're gross.
Maybe that's it then.
Yeah, you're like,
I can't believe you don't like Werther's Original, Bill.
oh, I do. They're just notorious for having old people attached to the other side of them.
You know, I never thought about that, but it makes sense because you want to know my
Like if you took any,
my farthest back memory of Werther's Original is my grandma always had a bowl of them on the coffee table at her house.
you know, if you go to any Bob Evans, pick a random old person, turn them upside down and shake them, you're going to get a Werther's Original, a button, and at least 1 wheat penny out of their pocket.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Does anyone ever get stuck behind like somebody that's like 90 years old at a cash register and your total is $267?
He's pulling change out.
Check. He's writing a check.
They're pulling out 67 cents out of their pocket and they're like, dude, I got this. I'll just pay for your bill. Let me know.
I just lay right down on the floor. I'm like, all right.
He drops a quarter on the ground. It's like Adam's like, you know, the guy's like looking for his stuff. I was like, all right, just go to your fucking car. I got it. You know?
Yeah. I can see that.
I'm pretty sure yours is the Capri Classic I'm looking at.
The Capri Classic 6000 Pontiac.
You're the one out there with the 5,500-pound car.
I
Yeah.
think we got a good show topic here for some other week.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys want to discuss? I don't know. Something techie, maybe. I don't know.
Something techie.
Does anyone in the comments have any suggestions?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if anybody has suggestions during the week, email them to us, and we'll start picking some.
That's a good idea.
HVAC Overtime at gmail.com.
Actually, Bill, you had an idea earlier this week. I just don't remember what it was.
Must have
I
sucked.
don't remember what it was either. You sure it was me? And
Well,
not a guy that looked like me?
This is like the first time I've talked to you guys since last Friday.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week. Like, we haven't been anywhere, I know.
I tried calling you twice, Joe, and you just freaking ghosted.
I don't appreciate you
You know-
not texting me back either, Joe.
What do you mean? Dude, Adam called me the other day. Wait, first of all, is this chat giveaway going still? What's going on here?
Joe, where'd you get into the fact that you don't answer your phone?
Listen, you called me during the day for a techie, just some consulting, and I answered. But he called me at night the other day, and I was at a relative's, and I'm like, he's not at work, so who cares? I can't answer it right now. So I didn't-
He could be dying, and I could be the last phone call he's making. That's irrelevant.
like, hey Joe, my fingers on J. I need to call you. I need an ambulance, Joe, with a J. But this guy, I'm dying over here. Doesn't answer.
And Justin,
There he
I
is.
didn't get no text from you, dude.
Yes, you did, because you responded once.
Okay. Okay. Anyways,
You don't.
Just tell him you don't want to be friends no more. It's okay.
Oh,
Joe,
you
let's
know.
get it out
We-
right now. Justin,
we'd like
you're
to see
too
if
damn
you'll-
southern. I can't take it any longer.
Oh,
And you're beneath me because of the heat pump thing.
We want to see a little bit more present.
We can't handle your southern draw. Every time you talk, we want to go to KFC.
oh my
The,
god.
the words
Oh, no,
take
this
too
goes-
long.
This goes way back.
Popeyes,
This goes way
Popeyes.
back.
Mm.
Joe is way above me. I'm way,
I forgot.
and he picks and chooses when he responds to me.
That is not true.
He's on another level.
Make it a point. Excuse my language. I make it a point. If you guys call me during the day, any of you guys, I'll pick up because I know something's up at work.
Anybody in the chat that's new, just so you know, if you, all you work on is heat pumps, you're nothing to Joe.
Yeah, you're basically garbage.
Listen, I work on a glorified one too, all right? Just not the regular
Yeah.
dual fuel
Oh my
mechanism.
god! Wow.
Anyways,
Joe
this is-
works on
I'll take
Joe works
it.
on
Let's get this
three-phase
giveaway done.
glycol boilers that are the two-stage.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with that.
So if anyone wants tech support, you can have Joe's number. It's 437.
Don't do it.
Call 1-800-CANADA. 1-800-CANADA HVAC. Joe's there.
All you gotta do is,
Oh.
if you talk into any random Tim Hortons cup, he will answer back.
Just go like this, right?
Like the ocean. If you listen to it, you can hear Joe whisper.
Yes, I'll be there.
Watch this. I'm gonna turn on the other screen now because I feel
What do
like
you guys say we do this giveaway?
Yeah, we are.
I think we should do it by law. They're gonna shut us down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. 13 eligible users, 14 now. Let's see.
That's pathetic. Let's chat. Let's get this thing moving.
Yeah.
Chat,
Let's
chat,
do
chat,
something.
chat. That's right. Give them like a minute to chat. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they fell asleep
No.
or something.
Is that it? They're all sleeping.
Yeah, they're all sleeping.
They're dead. They waited and they died waiting for the show to end.
That's kind of how I was at like 2 minutes ago.
I know.
Poor
Not
Justin
everybody
over
showed
there.
up for
Justin's
that.
like, you can see it's like as the show goes on, he's like, it needs to end now.
No, I'm all right. I'm just glad it's not. I'm glad it's not like flu stuff. I'm glad I ain't freaking crapping my brains out or throwing up or nothing. It's just like a really, really bad head cold.
Oh my gosh. I hate it. Hey man, why the crap do we only have 26 likes on this video? Man, you guys about to win a prize? How about throwing a like down there? That takes like 0.5 seconds to do.
Right? Good point, bud.
Those are rookie numbers.
Does it take that much to push the like button?
Let's take the kid gloves off. Get your asses up and put the damn like button so we can get to 5 million likes or whatever the goal is.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot
Half
to do
the
that
same,
too.
like the like button. You should just do it. We're here chilling with you, talking HVAC like nerds. Let's do it. And we're giving away stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice,
I mean-
man. That was fiery. I like that.
Yeah, I would build a banger.
Yeah, it's now moving. Yeah, the eligible should be moving up, right, Zach?
We got
27. They've doubled.
27. There we go.
You get your ass out there and you find that dog.
Is that a movie quote?
Come on, Joe. You don't know Billy Madison?
Oh, is that where it's from? Man.
Hell no.
You don't sit down. If your dog gets lost, you don't sit on the porch and cry and wait for it to come home. No, you get your ass out there and you find that dog.
Dog.
Well, I just dropped off or something. I think I lost some audio there.
What are these guys winning? Are they winning?
Well,
True
Joe,
Tech Tools?
thanks
Some
for
sort of-
saying that. A True Tech Tools gift card. Whoa!
For
Oh,
50
my.
smackers?
50 American dollars. That's more exciting, isn't it?
That is driving.
Heck yeah.
Don't spend it all in one place.
I'm gonna hit the button.
Do
Bam!
it.
Actually, you have
Do
to
it.
spend it. You have to spend it all in one place. It's True Tech Tools gift card.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Craig Egan. That's my guess.
That is incorrect.
Grant
It is
Neal. I'm just reading
Hosea
names.
Pearson. Hosea Pearson. So evidently a gunfighter from 1881. Hosea
Sweet.
Pearson.
Hosea.
I have a question. I have a technical question for True Tech Tools.
False.
Hold on. Congratulations, because I never heard that name winning something yet, so that's
I haven't
awesome.
either.
Yep.
Way to go, Josiah. Email HVACOvertime@gmail.com, and then the electronic mail delivery system will bring it to us.
Awesome. Congrats.
So you know how True Tech Tools gives you points for everything you buy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get points for a gift card?
You're saying they're double dipping?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Why you stumbled onto something quite interesting, Adam. I don't know. I will try. Let's just enjoy some of this silence.
Yeah, we're out of here. It's been too long.
Yeah. We got a giveaway done.
Yeah,
I'm
You guys
kind
ready
of
to wrap this up?
It's gonna be a whole nother week until I see all your smiling icons on the chat.
I tell you, when you get the hell off Discord, we'll talk more often.
Yeah.
Shoot me some of them good old fashioned text messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so 1990.
Yeah. We missed the old Google Hangouts. Ain't no Google Hangouts anymore.
Just
Now it's,
page
you
me.
know,
Who thinks they could still text with T9 without looking at their flip phone? Just
I could
text.
all day long.
I could too.
Nope.
I could.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, guys. What do you say? We get out
Do
of
it,
here.
Gil. Yep. Do it.
All right, guys. I'd like to first say thanks to our lovely guests that stopped by, Steve, Hoser, Jessica.
Awesome.
Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it. We appreciate the view from a different part of the world. Thank you to the co-host here, Justin, who almost died during the show twice.
I'm here.
It's a good thing he's got a defibrillator under his chair. But anyway, guys, so we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys at the same time next week, all right? Take care. Take us out, Zach.